Hi, my name is Margaret Grzybowski. I'm a product manager at Certiport, and I want to welcome Kim Johnson from LearnKey here. Hi, Kim. How are you doing?
Good morning. Great, Margaret.
Great. We're excited to have Kim here and to talk about LearnKey. LearnKey is an amazing partner of ours. They offer courses that align to almost all of our certification exams, and she'll go through that list in a little bit. Kim also has a recorded webinar that walks a teacher through the course. So if you're new to LearnKey, be sure and check that webinar out. So let's turn the time over to Kim to learn about specifically features that will be especially useful during this time of remote learning that we're all experiencing. So thanks, Kim, and I'll turn the time over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Margaret. One thing that I've been asked by a lot of teachers is, first thing, my students don't have access to Microsoft Office or, say, the Adobe software at home. What I've been kind of going through for the most part is asking, if they have access to a free downloadable trial, or some students do have subscriptions to sometimes the Adobe at home, but maybe they can't download it. If so, it'd be great if they can download Office first and go through the newest, latest, and greatest Office 365 courseware. But both Adobe CC 2018 and 2019 and the Office 365 courses will require use of the SMS in the Gmetrics portal. So that's one caveat to it, and that they can download that. One thing that I've been talking to the teachers about is our older courseware. So Adobe CC 2015 courseware does not require the software when they go in to use it, and still covers a large amount of the objectives even in the newer Adobes. So they do increase percentage each time we add a new version, but we can still have access to the bulk of these courses, which are going to have a lot of foundational pieces on what everything covers and the tools available to them. So if your students already have a Gmetrics login, then great. The one thing for LearnKey as well is when you're going to create codes to redeem these courses and your students are going to have access online, make sure they're redeeming it on www.gmetrics.net. All LearnKey courseware has to be accessed on the web portal, not through the desktop icon. So that's one tip as well. The one thing to know in these courses, we've created them based on the domains and objectives, but the pre-assessment, post-assessments in these are true and false, choose all that apply, and multiple choice, and simulation type questions. So this is where it doesn't require the software to be installed. As far as just the resources, we have some great features in here like flashcards to show those terms and the terms and definitions as we are moving towards those exams by the time they're ready. So we want to make sure you guys are aware of all those. And then questions I get is the activity report. Is it going to track everything? And yes, you have access to reports, features, everything, every test score that they've ever taken is going to showcase that here. An additional resource that we've always created are workbooks that go with this. These are additional project workbooks. So some features may ask them to pull up InDesign or pull up the actual software, but we have also got fill in the blanks. So these are really great worksheets that you guys can upload to a web portal or Moodle or whatever LMS you may be working to support your students. These you can upload, and they're PDFs that you can just take these project workbooks apart and kind of pull in those and save those files so they can use those electronically as well. Let me get back over and show just some of the features that we have on the administrative portal for teachers. The first place I'd recommend when you log into the administrative portal is starting with the course resources from the home page. And this is where all of the teacher guides, lesson plans, all of those student workbooks that you have access to in the worksheets, those are going to be downloadable here. And I'll just pull up one of the teacher resources here where the lesson plan is included in the back. So this is going to show you really class hour by class hour, which is basically a half an hour. The introduction, what it's going to cover, the objectives for the exam, if the exam is the end goal for sure, and then the exercise labs and any project workbooks and files that are associated with those topics. So these are in the back of all the teacher workbooks, in addition to fill in the blanks, glossaries, shortcut keys, a whole lot of resources for you. So this is where I'd really direct most teachers. In going back over to the administrative portal, this is where all your reports and features, once your students redeem those codes and get access to the LearnKey courseware, that's what it's going to tie to your license, your reporting features, and allow you to go in and pull reports. So all of the reports can be accessed under the Create Reports, and then just make sure you go to the course reports. This is specific to LearnKey. So if you want to get all of their activity on what videos they've watched, what they've downloaded, this is where you're going to find those reports here. And for more information, you can go back and watch the full webinar for the details on how to break these all down. Margaret, is there any other items that you'd like me to cover, or any questions that have come up through the service report, customer service area?
Not that I can think of, unless anyone else has a question. I was excited to see that reporting feature, though. I know that will be so useful to teachers during this time. Does anyone else on the call have a question?
I have a question, Kim. Can we see what it's like for the student side of things when they log in?
Sure. When your students log in, let's grab and start maybe a Microsoft Office course. So when we go in, we have two options. We have a lesson layout in 2016 or a session layout. The session layout is the one that we mentioned earlier that has kind of true and false, choose all that apply, and does not require the software. So a lot of teachers have been asking for these courses. When they get into the course and the first session, we've got a pre-assessment, video-based training, exercise labs, and a post-assessment. So the pre-assessment is just going to quiz them on what their current knowledge base is and set a good baseline of what they already know. So I'll just launch this real quick and show you what it looks like. So they would just go through and answer each question here. And then the one thing to remember too, as they answer each of these, if they don't have a chance to finish this, they can click the save button, and they have two options here, save and exit or grade and exit. In order for it to show up on the reports, we need to make sure they submit it for grading and click grade and exit. That's how it'll give you the indicator and give you the scores after that. From here, we're going to see a results page, and this will go in and outline exactly what they've missed and what their current score was. The next step would be going into the video-based training. And when we film this, we film it with an expert in our studio, and we outline all the objectives. So these are video-based training modules that they go through to just walk them through
and welcome to the Microsoft
how
26.
Maybe the new tour of the ribbon, what's changed, navigate through all of these. Like if they don't know what spark lines are in Excel, it's walking through those objectives and visually showing them. So I'll just show a real quick hyperlink video. And they have some options here at the bottom
now,
to do a full screen.
Another part of navigating through documents is navigating outside of documents. For example, when you build a document, especially if you're trying to cite a source, that source could be a website. You can actually take text and turn that text into...
Really, the software, 85 to 90% of the time, if at all possible, we want to showcase the software and visually walk them through. And as the students log in and out of each of those topics, if they finish a video clip, they're going to see a check mark land on the right-hand side, so they know where they've left off each time they log in and log out. When you get into the exercise labs, this one is going to launch the SMS, so this would require them to use the SMS if they're going to use this and have the application installed. So this is the only caveat to utilizing a Chromebook. If your students are on Chromebooks, this will not launch if they don't have the Office application installed as well. So this is the only part that you may have to have your students skip if that's the case on the exercise labs. But those of you who are familiar with Geometric Math is an amazing tool that will go in and grade everything that they're working on while they're going these exercise labs to see if they have that knowledge base and retained it. And then the final step through all courses is the post-assessment. And we recommend that they pass the post-assessment with 80% or higher. And this is what we consider a passing score in order to move on to the next session or module. And then from there, once they've passed with 80% or higher in all of the LearnKey post-assessments, we would recommend they move to the practice test at that point and pass with 80 to 90% or higher from there. Real quick, I will point out we have a few features here. If your students are having a hard time reading that, we can click on the A's here at the top and it'll increase the text up to 5 times. So we have a few options. And then just making sure they click grade and exit as well to get their results.
Kim, I have a question.
Okay.
Just making sure that all of our students who have Chromebooks understand what they have access to and not. You said the exercise labs will be difficult if they can't download the software. Is it true that, what about the pre and post assessments if they can't download the Geometrics SMS?
The pre-assessment should still work. So as long as it's not an in-app lab, so if it prompts the student to download or it's going to prompt the SMS, and it's a little mechanism that will pop up. If they don't have that installed, then that's your indicator as well that it's an in-app lab if it's not marked. Otherwise, the testing will work in here on the post-assessments. If you see true and false, choose all that apply, then this is kind of still a test, just not using that SMS mechanism, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. And do you mind going through all of the exams or showing us the different exams that don't require any downloads for anything, where they can use the entire course on a Chromebook, for example?
Perfect. Yes. Thanks, Margaret. This is a list of all the courses that we offer that are mapped to certification for Certiport. I will say the Microsoft Office and Adobe's are the more in-app options that you would get into in the most recently released, I guess I would say, on 2019 for Office and 2018 for Adobe. Those are more in-app and interactive with the SMS and would require the software. The only time you'll run into any other items like the project workbooks, that's when it would require the Office software as well. But if you can see all these additional courses down below, like IC3 Spark, IC3 GS5, Entrepreneur and Small Business Communication Skills for Business, those do not require any software. All of our MTAs do not require any software. The Autodesk, you can get through the course, those are simulations. So the courseware does not require the software application, but once you get into the project workbook, that would require it as well. But I believe Autodesk has downloadable software for free as well for students. CompTIA does not require the software, so we've got quite a few options for online resources that students do not have to download a lot of software.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. One more comment. I know some teachers have been wanting to print some materials. What can they print?
So as far as, hang on one second, let me close out of here. As far as printable materials, any of the student workbooks or teacher workbooks that are available, they can print those actually. So the students are able to print them. They may have like a copyright on there. Through these times, we need to make sure everybody has access to all of them. So the teachers can actually break up the PDFs and just upload one workbook or worksheet if they'd like. Usually you just go into the PDF, download it, and then from there, they can actually save and do a print PDF and save that particular page would be our recommendation at that point. And then you can just upload one worksheet at a time.
Oh, great. Fabulous. Any other questions? Sounds like no. I sure appreciate your time, Kim. This has been really valuable.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thanks, you guys.